Alright guys, real quick, just going to use this opportunity to shill my other platforms. You can find all my links on my Linktree page. The main pages I'm going to be using other than YouTube are going to be Minds, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, and Truth Social. So if you guys want to give me a follow over on those other platforms, I'd really appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright everyone, what is up here? Jigsaw0097, and the Eagles have done it, guys. The Eagles have moved to 6-0 on the 2022 season, and this was a very interesting game. The score looks like the Eagles had it in check, which they did for the most part, but this was actually a very intense game to watch, and it is the tale of two halves. And also just showed how the Eagles can rally to get the win. All right, so to get to the first half, the Eagles were very dominant, guys, in the first half, as you guys can see here. The Cowboys didn't put any points on the board until the second quarter, and the Eagles were up 20-0 at one point. So they were very dominant in this game. And as you can tell, I'm kind of like more relaxed right now for some reason. I'm not like super hyped like I normally am with Eagles Cowboys games, because this game I just like went into it a little bit differently. I went into it kind of like I really want to analyze both teams, because we're in a unique situation this year, guys, where I think the NFC East might be the best division in the NFC right now. And so this doesn't normally happen. Usually the NFC East is either completely trash or like one team is really good, but it's very rare that you have like all these teams good at once. Other than the Redskins, like basically every team in the NFC East is good. The Giants just beat the Ravens today, so they're also good. So I went into this game not my typical way of like, oh, I'm just going to hate on Dallas and I'm going to get really upset if the Eagles lose. It was more of like, okay, I know the Eagles can win, but I also know how they've been beating themselves in the past. I kind of know what the Eagles are now. They're very much a first half team, and then in the very end, you know, they do just enough to keep it together, which is fine. It reminds me a lot of Chip Kelly in many ways, like the good parts of Chip Kelly, especially his first season, when the Eagles were just explosive. Like that's what this team reminds me of. Their offense is really explosive and it kind of fizzles out over time. But this defense, guys, this defense is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. The defense really locked it down in most of this game. Like I said, there was like the middle part that was a little scary about the third quarter, but the Eagles locked it down in the beginning. They were completely dominant. Just go over some stats here. You had C.J. Garner. He had 2 interceptions, and then you had a Darius Slay interception. But they were flinging the ball all over the place. The defense was. They were tipping it. They were smacking it away. Like it was a dominant game. And the defense really did bail the Eagles out. That's what's so weird about this team. They have the offense of Chip Kelly, but I don't remember Chip Kelly ever having a defense that was this good. So like they make a lot of mistakes on offense, obviously. Like you've heard my rants before, that's the difference between like a running team and a throwing team. The Eagles are kind of a dual threat, but they're much more of a running team. But when you have a defense that's this good, it allows your offense to be a lot more risky and try more things. And that's definitely what the Eagles did in this game as well. They had a lot of really good plays, you know, going for it on fourth down, stuff like that. But they just had a lot of good trick plays. One that was really good, it was the one that put the Eagles over the edge at the end to have them go up to 26, was the fake handoff, and then he threw it to Devontae Smith. That was a really clever play. So stuff like that I just really like to see, and I think this defense, you know, it bails the Eagles out when they make mistakes and it allows them to do things like that. But yeah, then the final part I wanted to go over was the stats, because these were a little shocking. The teams basically again mirrored each other. You remember how I said that last week with the Cardinals, that the Cardinals kind of mirrored the Eagles. It didn't feel that way looking at this game, but if you look at the stats, so you had total yards for Dallas 315 and total yards for the Eagles 269. Passing yards for Dallas 181, passing for the Eagles 132, and then this is the one that's crazy, is that the Cowboys had 134 rushing and the Eagles had 137, and they both averaged about 4.0, 4.3 yards per play. And then exactly the same amount of first downs, 23. So this was, again, like I said, I didn't go into this like, oh, we're just going to smoke Dallas. You know, I was hearing that a lot during the week and I just kind of ignored it. But the big difference here is that you go down and you see 3 interceptions. Like I said, that is a defensive battle right there. The Eagles also had a much higher time of possession, about 10 minutes more than Dallas at 34-30, and Dallas had 25-30. But the 3 interceptions really is what changed the game. But what I'm getting at is Dallas is still a very good team in my opinion. Like this is again, the NFC East is loaded. I can't wait until the Eagles play the Giants because that game is going to be absolutely insane now as well. Yeah, I just checked it. It looks like the Eagles don't play the Giants until December 11th, so that's quite a ways away. But that's going to be an insane game. And it looks like we play the Commanders before that, which, I've kind of already counted them out in many ways. But the Eagles have a pretty decent schedule going forward. We have the Steelers next, we have the Texans, and then we have the Commanders. Then we have the Colts, we have the Packers, and the Titans, and then the Giants. So really the foreseeable future, very winnable games. I know the Steelers just beat the Bucks today, and people are kind of freaking out, but the Eagles have always historically had very good luck against the Steelers, so I'm not really worried about that game, and it is once again in Philadelphia, so that'll be an interesting game to watch as well. And it looks like that's at 11 a.m. next week. That's my time, Mountain Time. So I don't know, guys. Like I said, I don't have like a whole lot to say on this one because I really just went into the game more analyzing both teams. And, like my gut feeling told me the Eagles were going to win, but, it's Dallas. They always do funky things. You never know. You never really know what's going to happen. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles is the best rivalry in sports history, in my humble opinion. And these games are they're always interesting. There's like a certain atmosphere to Cowboys Eagles games that you just don't get anywhere else. So much respect to Cowboys Nation. Like I said, you do have a good team there. The Eagles are just surprisingly one of the most dominant teams this year, at least to me. I didn't expect them to be this good. Like I said, I haven't really been following the NFL for the last couple of years, but for the Eagles to be this complete this soon after the Carson Wentz collapse and the firing of Doug Peterson is very shocking to me. And the Eagles did this before, again, with Chip Kelly. After they fired Chip Kelly, they ended up winning the Super Bowl 3 years later. So this is not really like strange territory for the Eagles. I should have known that they could do something like this, but yeah, Nick Sirianni, I really like him as a head coach, but yeah, a lot of Eagles commentators have said this as well, and I kind of agree. I think that the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator in Gannon are a weak link in the Eagles. This coaching staff is not even close to as elite as it was when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So again, to see them doing this well, this just shows you that they have an overload of talent, which is just fantastic to see. So it's a fun team. It's a different team than what I saw in 2017, but it is a very good 6-0 Eagles team, still the best record in the NFL, which kind of blows my mind to say that. But yeah, that is kind of my comments on the Eagles-Cowboys game. The Eagles beat the Cowboys 26-17. What do you guys think about this game? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What are some of your observations? Also, go ahead if you're new. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this. It really helps the algorithm. And then also check me out on those alternative tech platforms that I leave in the beginning of the video. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching, guys. This has been Jigsaw0097. I will talk to you all later.